You remember when you got her? You had hours and hours to just drive and dream. You spent your Saturdays fixing whatever needed fixing just to keep her running right. 20 years later, isn't it time you two got reacquainted? When you're ready, we're here. Because at LMC Truck, we know that while time may have passed, your passion for her never faded. Get her back on the road where she and you belong.
Now you're watching Gearz, brought to you by LMC Truck. Keep them on the road.
You know, when it comes to fuels, there's two big players out there, gas and diesel. And today we're going to be talking about gas. Not the type that you get at Taco Bell, but the type that you get at the local gas station. Now, obviously, gasoline has changed a lot over the years. It used to have lead, then it was unleaded, then there's turbo blue, and then there's racing fuel, all the way up to the ethanol blends that we have today. So knowing what to put into your newer vehicle is pretty important, because what you put in the tank has direct correlation with how much power you get out of the engine. And with what you find at the pump today, E85 is the hot ticket. Now, I know some of you guys are thinking, what? E85? That's ethanol. I heard that was bad for your engine. I heard it on the internet. Well, you heard wrong. Because as you can see, they've been putting ethanol with gasoline for a long time. So somebody was onto something. And since reformulated gasoline came out in '98, all of the newer vehicles have to be compatible with ethanol. So if you're not running E85, you should be. Here's why. Compared to 93 pump gas, E85 will give you more horsepower and torque. It also lowers cylinder temperatures and is less prone to detonation, burns cleaner, and is cheaper per gallon. The problem is, if your vehicle is not flex fuel equipped, you can't take advantage of this. And if you start messing with custom tunes for E85 and you don't get the fuel mixture right, well, you can torch your engine. And there's the problem. A singular tune is not a flex fuel solution. So what do? We have the solution right over here. This is the ProFlex Commander Fuel System from Advanced Fuel Dynamics, and it is a true flex fuel solution because it utilizes a sensor that monitors exactly how much ethanol is in your gas and feeds it to the Commander control module, which then modifies the fuel delivery to maximize power and protect your engine no matter what you're running. From 100% gasoline to 100% ethanol, this module will deliver the right amount of fuel to your injectors. Now, as you can see, it's a pretty simple deal. You have the sensor, the module, some new fuel lines, and a special harness. And it's a simple enough install that pretty much anybody can do it. The vehicle we're going to be doing this on is a 2017 Mustang GT, but the install is going to be pretty much the same no matter what you're driving. The first step is to remove the engine cover, then disconnect the fuel lines at the engine and the firewall using a disconnect tool. Make sure you put a rag under the line to absorb excess fuel. Next, lay the harness out over the injectors, then unplug the injectors and plug the new harness into the injector and then into the original harness. Now, as you can see, this new harness doesn't replace the original injector harness. It plugs into the injector and then into the original injector harness. Then you just tuck it all out of the way. Next, we'll mount the ground wire under an existing bolt. Then we'll install the new fuel hoses with the sensor in the middle and start the car to make sure all the connections are good. Finally, we'll plug the harness into the module and the sensor, and that's it. Once it's all plugged in, you're ready to head to the E85 pump and fill up. The ProFlex system not only allows you to run any blend of E85, it also makes it possible to switch from E85 to gas and back anytime you want, making this the only true flex fuel retrofit system on the market. But it gets even better. E85 works extremely well with power adders and power tuning, so you can add superchargers and turbos and nitrous and that kind of thing with less risk of detonating your engine to pieces. And if you want to keep tabs on what is actually going on in your fuel system, they even provide a smartphone app so you can hook up on Bluetooth and see the exact fuel blend as it passes through the sensor, which is pretty cool. As you can see, this pump gas is running 10% ethanol. The only downside to running E85 is that your fuel mileage might drop a mile or two per gallon. But since E85 is usually around $1 cheaper per gallon than Premium 93, you won't really notice it at your wallet. But you will notice it at the rear tires. You know, car guys have been on a quest for years to get the hottest fuel to put in their vehicles. From super to aviation gas to turbo blue. We've tried everything. But the simple fact is, you actually have a racing fuel right there at your local gas station in E85, if you can access it properly. And this system from Advanced Fuel Dynamics will let you do that. You know, there's an old saying that some of the best inventions come out of a need or solving a problem. And there's a lot of truth to that, because the products that do something usually become iconic. The ones that don't just kind of disappear. But the company that we're looking at today not only saw a need and solved a problem, but they also managed to create a whole lifestyle around their product. And like most companies, they started really small. Take a look. In 1954, Tom Bradley was running a small upholstery shop in Boulder, Colorado, when he realized that virtually all of the Jeeps in town were either being used as a fair weather vehicle with no top or as a utility vehicle with a bulky, bolted down hardtop. So Tom sat down and created a weatherproof canvas top, christened it the Bestop, and never looked back. The introduction of a quality soft top allowed Jeep enthusiasts to enjoy their vehicles year-round, rain or shine. No longer did you have to run for shelter when you were out wheeling and the rain came, nor did you have to stay cooped up in a sweltering hardtop when the sun came out. The removable soft top set Americans free in their Jeeps to go roam and search and explore. Now, over 60 years later, Bestop is still the leading manufacturer of premium soft tops for Jeeps and other vehicles, and they even supply the OEMs with factory tops. But staying on top of that game is not easy. It requires time and innovation and an understanding of the whole off-road world.
Anyone can bend a piece of metal and make an element door out of it. It rattles, it shakes. We had versions like that as well. But we really feel like we have this opportunity to fit a niche in between an absolute factory execution and a typical aftermarket.
It also requires people with the talent and skills to create the next big thing. That innovation can clearly be seen in the groundbreaking products that have rolled out of Bestop over the years. From the early Willys Tiger Tops to the Wrangler and CJ Super Top, the products kept getting more refined and more comfortable as the needs of the users grew, and the length of the Jeep grew to fit 4 doors. There was no question that the hardcore Jeep person and the daily driver Jeep person were on a collision course, because they both wanted the same thing. They wanted a top with the functionality and the options of a soft top, but with the security and the weatherability of a hard top. And once again, Bestop saw a need and filled it with the Trek Top Pro Hybrid Soft Top. Now this combines the DNA of a hard top with a rear glass hatch with the versatility and the options of a soft top.
You know, as Wrangler has taken off and went to a 4-door, there's more of what you call the mall crawlers out there. That product fits them exactly, where all the functionality of a hardtop, yet provides you that open air experience that I really feel like if you own a Jeep, you should get out in the open air. Otherwise, you're missing it.
But Bestop is not just about tops. They also carry a whole line of accessories like bumpers and lights and seats, so you can outfit your rig and make it truly one of a kind. And nothing illustrates that more than the core doors.
You know, at SEMA, we had all our tops. We launched a number of them. Response is always strong to that, but it was overwhelming to those core doors. I can't remember the first day. I think we had 50, 60,000 shares, relooks at the video, sending it across the board, and we can't wait to get them out into the market.
Following the same concept as their soft tops, the core doors are designed to seal and fit like a hardtop door, but removable panels allow you to convert them to an awesome trail door in just a few seconds. Now, at this point, you would think Bestop would be content just to sit back and cruise on their reputation. But the people at Bestop are not cruisers. They're hardcore enthusiasts and are always pushing forward. So, as long as people continue to put removable tops on vehicles, I guarantee you Bestop is going to be trying to figure out a better way to take that top off.
And in my viewpoint, a real Jeeper, you need access to the open air environments. And when I see a hard top closed in and I'm riding by someone on a beautiful day, it actually makes me physically ill. Because I'm like, I know we have a solution for you, and you should have it.
And now, Detail Tech. Brought to you by Brush Hero, the ultimate detailing tool.
One of the first steps to detailing a car or truck is you gotta get it clean, which means you need to wash it. Now, there's a lot of you out there that may never build your own vehicle from the ground up. You may not ever even change your own oil, but I guarantee you every one of you will eventually wash a car at least once. So you gotta know how to do it. Now, when it comes to washing a vehicle, there's two steps. The first step is the surface cleaning, which involves getting the dirt and grime off the surface of the vehicle. And then there's the deep cleaning, which involves going under the hood or into the wheel wells. Now, this is two different approaches requiring two different types of tools. That's what we're going to look at today. Now, most people understand the basics of washing a car. I mean, water on, water off, that kind of thing. But there are some tips and tricks and products out there that can make it easier and give you better results. So first of all, make sure that the soap you're using is designed for washing a car. This stuff that you find underneath your grandma's kitchen counter, it's too harsh. It can damage your paint. Also, if you're using an old sock or a dish towel to wash your car, don't do that. There's all kinds of pads out there specifically for scrubbing. There's towels for removing water and detailing. There's brushes and there's brush tools, and these are all designed specifically to remove dirt from your car. That old sock or that shirt or that diaper or that old pair of shorts you've been using with the elastic waistband and the nylon threading, that's probably what's causing the swirl marks that you've been wondering about. Not only that, it's kind of creepy. Now, when it comes to cleaning under the hood or in the wheel wells, we call that dirty cleaning because there's a whole different level of grime underneath here. Because you have gasoline and oil and grease and brake fluid and antifreeze and brake dust. And when that all comes together with dirt, you get a mess. So they're going to take a special tool and special soap to take that off. A water-powered wand, like this one from Brush Hero, with different nozzles and different brush heads is great because it not only allows you to get deep into tight areas, but the water, the soap, and the brushes allow you to get the crud off. Trying to do this by hand would not only take forever, but you'd never get it as clean as one of these will. And that's it. The rest is pretty self-explanatory. Water on, water off. There's nothing real difficult about washing a car. It's just a lot of elbow grease. But having the right tools will definitely make it easier.
Tool Tech. Brought to you by Cornwell Tools, the choice of professionals.
When you're working in a shop, one of the most important tools that you can have is proper lighting. Because you gotta be able to see what you're working on. And nobody understands that like Cornwell. That's why they came out with this whole line of blue ion rechargeable lights. Now you got to check this out. First up, you got the little pen light. You can take these with you, and this allows you to put light wherever you need it. Now, let's say that you need light to go wherever your eyes look. Well, they've got these on the headband, so wherever your face goes, that light goes. Now, let's say you need to put some light stationary if you're working, say, under a hood or something like that. They've got this light, set it, place the light wherever you need it to go. It's got a magnetic base with a hook so you can hang it, you can stick it. It's a great way to put some stationary light somewhere. Then, if you need to stick light into a weird place, hang it somewhere, that of course is what these are for. Now that takes care of the handheld lights. Let's say you need some light just overall. Well, that's what this big boy is for. It's got spring-loaded ends with infinitely adjustable hooks, so you can stretch it between 2 points and then shower the light down on your work area. This is perfect for under a hood, inside an interior, underneath a vehicle, all kinds of stuff. You'll love this one. Now, if you want a little bit of all of this, they have what I like to call the erector set, because it has a frame that goes together, so you basically have this light, but then you have 2 small removable lights that you can use for whatever you want. And all of these lights feature super bright LED bulbs. They're weatherproof. They're tough enough to handle all kinds of shop abuse. And since they're rechargeable, they'll last longer than you will. It's not a matter of needing light. You know you do. It's a matter of getting the right light. And if it says Cornwell Blue Ion, you know it's right.
And now, Parts Bin.
If you're working on a classic Chevy truck, you know that one of the most important things to pay attention to is the dash and gauges, because that's something that you're going to be looking at 90% of the time. And most people are really happy with the stock configuration. But if you add to that most people are going to add a modern engine and upgrade the wiring and air conditioning and the stereo and that kind of thing, well, now you got a dilemma. How do you make those two things work together? Well, LMC Truck has got a solution for that. Check this out. This is the dash of a 1955 through 59 Chevy truck, and as you can see, it has an original style gauge cluster, but it's got all modern gauges in it. You also have a new switch for the headlights and for the ignition, for the windshield wipers. You have a modern stereo in it. You even have temperature control. So on this side, it looks original, but back here, it's all modern technology. But that's not all. If you have a 78 through 87 square body truck and always wish that you had a tack here instead of whatever your truck came with, well, LMC has a kit to put a tack where it belongs. Also, if you have a 67 through 72 Chevy truck and are tired of original gauges with no numbers on them, they have a gauge upgrade with numbers so you know what's going on. So if you're sitting there looking at the dash of your Chevy, trying to figure out what you want to do, LMC Truck can help you make your mind up. Everybody knows that the 88 through 98 GM trucks are cool and affordable. But what's not cool is that most of them came with an automatic. Well, not anymore, because American Powertrain has come out with a kit called the OBS ProFit Truck Kit that allows you to put a standard shift transmission into your 88 to 98 GM truck. Now check this out. Obviously, you have your choice of transmission, the TKO 5-speed or the bigger Magnum 6-speed, and then to go with that, you have the bell housing, you have the pressure plate, you've got the clutch, you've got the flywheel, you've got a hydraulic throwout bearing, you have a master cylinder, you've got all the hardware, you even have your choice of shifters. The best part is this utilizes your factory cross member, and you don't have to cut or modify the floor at all, except to cut the hole for your shifter. This is without a doubt the best way to put a standard shift transmission into your 88 to 98 GM truck, and you're only going to find it at American Powertrain. With all of the garages and man caves that are out there, the hunt is always on for good tools that are cool. And Mechanic is well known for exactly that type of tool. Check this out. This is the 3-ton low-profile floor jack. And as you can see, it has this really neat flat black finish. It'll slide under 3 inches and will lift 3 tons, 20 inches with just a few pumps. But the best part, check this out, are these urethane wheels like you'll find on a skateboard. So they'll not only roll over the floor well, but they won't mess up your expensive epoxy flooring. Now, let's say you need some place to park your hiney. Well, this is what they call the fastback stool. Now this has got, as you can see, a place for your tools, place for your sockets, a place for your drink, and it also has the urethane wheel, so that's going to roll over the floor really nice. And it's tested to hold over 350 pounds. Now, if you need some place to hold some light, they have the rechargeable pod light with a magnetic base, which allows you to position that light wherever you need it. So, if you're looking for good tools that are cool, you're looking for Mechanic.
What are you working on? Brought to you by Woodward Fabrication, selling quality metalworking equipment since 1966.
Today's What Are You Working On comes from Jose Cruz from Plant City, Florida. And his project is a 1988 Suzuki Samurai. Yeah. He said, now he always loved the Samurais because he saw them when he was growing up and they were everywhere. On the beach, down the road, going off-road, and he always wanted one. So he said he managed to find one a few years later, and he and his dad had always talked about doing a project together, so they were off and running trying to rebuild the Samurai. Now look at this. The first thing they did was completely rebuild the suspension, and then they just bought a new body because the original body was just rotten. That's a good way to solve that problem. They also rebuilt the original 1.3 engine, and they're now just hanging out trying to find the rest of the parts that they need to finish it. Fortunately, Samurai parts are pretty easy to find. Now, Jose says that this project has not only been a great learning experience, but as you can see by this picture, it's also brought he and his dad much closer together, and that's cool. Now, he says he can't wait to take his dad and his daughter on a romp down the beach in the Samurai. That's going to be a ball. Remember, nothing flies through the air like a Samurai, so when you see those dunes, catch some air, man. You'll give them a ride they won't forget. Now, to recognize such a great project, Jose, we're going to give you one of these bead rollers that we got from Woodward Fab. It's the roller plus all the dies that you're going to need to roll some really nice panels. Also, you're obviously a gearhead, so we're going to give you one of our Gearz t-shirts, and we'll give one to your dad too. And we're going to give you one of our project planning books so you can keep track of everything you've done to that little Samurai. And then we're going to give you one of our purple bicycle books, but you got to read it to your daughter. And then you are the first recipient of our new What Are You Working On tow truck, because every gearhead needs a tow truck. Now, the rest of you guys, if you want to get in on this, get your project featured on the show, go to the website, go to Gearz Nation, and submit it into What Are You Working On. The website's also the place to find out more information on any products you may have seen on the show, any Gearz merchandise, and how to join Gearz Nation so you can stream any of our episodes commercial free. Finally, don't forget to like us on Facebook so you can get some behind the scenes footage of our weekly web series, Shifting Gears. All right, that wraps it up for us today, which means you need to go out, find yourself a project, and start working on it. We'll see you next time.